Hey guys, Darren here. Welcome to Mayhem Country Living. Hope you guys are doing all right wherever it is that you are. Going to be kind of a short video. I just wanted to give you an update as to what's going on. Been crazy busy doing traveling for work, and so I am finally in a recovery mode. I have just been so dang busy doing stuff in the real world. It's just the way it is. Before I do anything else, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button because that really helps us out, and it makes it a lot easier for us to get noticed in the algorithms. Now, I wanted to show you, this is something I have been messing with for a very long time, doing this, and this is down in the bunker, and I wanted to show you one of the things we do to do bulk food and long-term food storage, and this is stuff that we always cook with. We use rice and beans, beans and rice. If you're a prepper, that's just what we do. But this is one of the easy ways to store it. One of the easiest ways is recycling your plastic stuff. It does double duty. It keeps this stuff out of the landfills and also has a good use for it, and this stuff lasts a long time. Now, if I had this stuff on a shelf with the light streaming in all the time, that would be less than desirable because it will degrade the food. But this is down in the basement, and there is very little light down here except for when I'm down here working or playing. 5 pounds of rice fits in one of these juice containers. This is whatever the juice that you drink or your grandkids drink, or your kids or something like that. Or ask your friends. My wife cringes. This is something I do. Whenever we go over to our friend's house, I'll go through their garbage in the kitchen in front of everybody, and I say, "What are you throwing away?" And I go through and I get all the plastic containers. And they just look at me like, "You're insane. And what's your point?" But they save me their 2-liter bottles too. That's something else we use. So you can either intimidate them, strong arm them out of their plastic, or you can ask them nicely. Either way works good. But beans and rice, one way to pick up some decent mid and long-term food storage: beans and rice. Dried beans, dried rice, dried corn, dried oatmeal, dried grains, that kind of stuff. It really goes a long way. I buy a lot of grains from my local feed store. And you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, that's animal food." Where do you think it comes from? It's all the same. It really is. That's where I buy all my bulk salt. I've got like 300 or 400 pounds of salt. Not iodized salt, the good salt, coarse grain, stacked on pallets, and it will last forever. Why do you have so much salt? Salt is one thing I cannot duplicate because I don't live on the Gulf and I don't have access to a salt lick. There are salt licks in this area. They're guarded very closely by local hunters, so you will never find a salt lick. No one will tell you about one anyway. I'm getting off the subject. Beans and rice, great long-term food storage. Store it out of direct light. Store it airtight. Here's a little trick, and one day I'll do this and I'll show you guys. You can use this, and what you can do is you just get some dry ice, break a little sliver of dry ice up, drop it in here, leave the cap off. You have your rice already in here, your corn or your beans, whatever it is. As the dry ice evaporates, it releases CO2. Critters don't live in CO2. This will fill up with CO2 and it will overflow. Once it quits overflowing, cap it, put it on your shelf. Long-term food storage. Lasts forever and ever. You can also freeze the rice, the beans in the bags. I do this with flour as well. Take it. One reason we have the chest freezer. Drop a 50-pound bag of corn, dent corn, whatever kind of corn you buy. I buy dent corn. I grew up eating dent corn. We was po. Freeze it for a week. Pull it out. There's no weevils in it. There's weevils in the corn that you buy in the grocery store. There's weevil in the beans. This is just something you do. But this is the easy way to do this. These beans, they're on the clearance section at Walmart about a week ago. 50 cents a bag. I bought 15 bags of it, red beans. The long grain rice, we're about to see some massive shortages of rice on a global level. We'll do a video on that later, and I'll show you some statistics from some of the local growers, as well as some of the global growers, as well as some of the people who buy and sell them on futures. That's where you can really get a lot of good information, because they're gambling with money on commodities. So that's something that's I kind of watch out for. But all that to say this, please save your plastic containers, or go buy you some of them fancy smancy ones. Either way, it's all good. Beans and rice, easy peasy. Do you know how to cook beans and rice? We ought to do videos on that as well, because believe it or not, some people do not know how to cook beans and rice. It's absolutely crazy. Speaking of crazy, I dropped off my car and had some work done to it. And as I was leaving, they were saying, well, you know, we're getting some new cars on the lot, and if you're interested in them, you can come by and take a look at them. And I said, I'm not opposed. And they said, do you know how to drive a stick shift? And I looked at that boy, because he was a boy, he was in his 20s. I said, what'd you say to me? He said, do you know how to drive a stick shift? I said, boy, I'm 54. I said, of course I know how to drive a damn stick shift. He said, oh, I didn't mean to offend you or upset you. He said, it's just most people don't know how to drive a stick shift when they come in here. I said, you have to be kidding me. He said, no, most people don't know how to drive a stick shift anymore. I said, well, I just don't know. I have nothing to say to that. I thought it was funny. It's just whatever. But put a little bit away. Store a little bit, put it away. Store a little bit, put it away. Easy peasy. Government cheesy. And it doesn't take long. And it's not terribly expensive if you do it a little bit at a time. We'll be doing some videos later on. It's going to be about what's going on, what kind of things are happening, what would you do. I cannot wait to tell you the hot dog story. You'll get a kick out of it. It's an exercise in morality, I would say. Wrapping it up, guys. Take care of you people.